How do I sound? I don't want to jar you. I gotta get my monster and my toast creatures.
I just have batteries in my pocket.
I feel kind of cozy right now. It's been a long time since I think this is the first time we've done a night shoot in our.
Since our first season.
Yeah.
Okay, we could get started.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to the Gen D podcast. We're your hosts,
Tyler and Alyssa.
Yeah.
It is 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night. This is our off-topic topic where we talk about things off-topic. This week's been a lot. Like, I moved on Sunday.
You did move on Sunday.
I've been spending this week unpacking, but also still working both my jobs. This Saturday is the Viking Festival.
It is the Viking Festival. I'm so excited.
Me too. So we have a lot to prepare for that.
We got the shirts all done. They're all completed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. Also, I just started a new job, so that's why we're doing a later one.
Yeah.
Poor Alyssa. She only has one day off throughout the week, and it's happens to be a Wednesday.
Yeah. But at the same time, I covered at one of my jobs just now, so I covered for a few hours there.
And so we're exhausted. I had a long day too.
Yeah, and I worked last night.
Sorry if I'm cutting you off. I traveled all over Ohio today. Oh my God. And then traffic was just dumb.
Oh, that was stressful.
Ohio drivers suck at driving. I'm from Ohio, so I can criticize, but not all Ohio drivers.
What does it mean if I have like family roots in Ohio?
Then we're just crappy drivers.
No, I mean, okay. So I'm obviously from California, right?
Right.
But I was born in California, but my grandmother, hey grandma, she's never going to listen to this, but she was born in Ohio and she was raised in Ohio, and she eventually moved from California. Ohio, well, actually to Arizona.
Yeah.
And then had my dad in Arizona and then moved to California.
It's kind of like you just have you have family roots.
Yeah, so like my grandmother's side, because my grandmother's side is more California, like her parents moved to California. That's why she ended up in California eventually. But my grandfather, so my dad's dad, his family is in Ohio.
Yeah.
So whenever my dad will go visit his side of the family, and it's only 3 hours away in Ohio.
Yeah, well, you have roots, so you just have family roots.
Yeah.
Like I have family roots in Kentucky, but I'm from Ohio. Like when you're from a place, so you were born in California.
I was, yeah.
And you were raised in California for a little while until you moved over this way. So you're from California.
I am, yeah, but
you can also now say,
can I say I'm an Ohioan if I have family roots in Ohio?
No.
Then how can we say that we're Italian?
That's different.
Do you see what I did there?
Yes. Oh my God. I mean, I guess
we weren't born in
Italy, but our bloodline is Italy.
Exactly. That being said, I don't think our bloodline is Ohio. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, maybe we do have a little bit of room to talk when it comes to Ohio, because
right. I mean, yeah. I'm from Ohio, so I know.
Yeah.
I suck at driving, period, too. I'm not the best. But I'm paranoid of driving. I don't text and drive hardly ever. I can't say that I don't, only at stoplights. So 90% of the time when people are trying to reach out to me, I am driving. I am not reading those text messages until either I'm in a spot where I can stop. And then if I have to go, I am putting that phone back down, even if I'm in the middle of the typing.
Yeah,
and then I'll complete it.
It's the smart thing to do.
I know people text and drive, and it's not
I'm one of them. I'm sorry. I really try not to be, but in my last relationship, because I'm single now, in my last relationship, if I didn't respond while I was driving, it was a problem. So I got to get out of that habit.
Yeah, no, I don't like that
because it was a.
Well, well, I even when you were in the middle of reading your book, you would stop and text. Yeah. Even when we were in the middle of doing the podcast, you would stop and text. You would respond. I am so proud that you're so open about it. Yeah, I'm trying. I don't really see the point in ignoring, because I spent the last year and a half ignoring everything. Yeah, all the problems that I was a part of. And I'm not saying I was perfect in that relationship by any means, because I wasn't. But it's a whole different thing when it comes to you not being perfect. I also feel like the relationship brought out the worst in me, and I hated that, and I hated seeing that side of myself, and also just the other half where it's
yeah, the worst in me is as in like my anger and like stuff like that when it got down to it. But also like the pure lack of respect for myself. I don't know.
I know what you mean. When I was your age, I went through a relationship like that where I lost respect for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and the pure anger that it brought out of
Yeah.
me, the side that I wasn't happy about, and the
Yeah.
way that it made me, like the
Like
way I would
having
make myself feel.
like having to compromise yourself in the name of love is
It shouldn't
it's
be.
toxic.
Yeah, it's very toxic. I think that if you're in a relationship where it brings out that side, like the good side of you, the which by the way, you should go read her book because it kind of gives a dibble in behind classroom doors, behind toxic relationships.
For sure. For sure.
And I didn't mean to pin you there. We do weird things with
I mean,
our.
yeah, but we did read it and it does relate in a lot of ways, which is really funny because that was
Well,
10 years ago.
so it's funny because when you were reading the book, the whole time I kept thinking about you.
Really?
I
Hmm.
kept putting yourself, because I'm one of those people. I will watch. I will watch you from a distance, because ultimately I am there if something were severe to happen. So if you were
Yeah.
to call me and be like, "He's beating me," I'd be over there in a hot
God,
minute.
no. He would
Or
never
if
do
I
that, just to
found
be
out
clear.
that he was beating you, I would be
Um,
over there in a hot minute.
but I do think that mental abuse was definitely
Meant,
there.
I feel, and I know this is a really hot take on what I'm trying to say, but sometimes you have to be there. Sometimes you
Yeah.
have to be there at a distance too, because ultimately, if someone keeps pressuring you, you're not going to leave.
I do really think that when it comes to relationships, it has to be, and funny enough, it's in my book. So I've always known this. I've always done by this. But I really do think that you have to leave when you're ready. And no one can force that time frame. And a lot of people, especially if you're in a physical abusive relationship, sometimes you never are ready and it's too late. And sometimes you never do get out of those relationships or those situations. But at the same time, no one can force you. And it's literally like, having a teenager, you tell them they can't be with somebody, they want to be with them.
Yeah, and
even more. You tell them not to do something, they want to do it even more. You can't tell people how to live or how to love.
And you can't.
They have to come to that conclusion on their own time and on their own terms. For me, I don't know.
Did
I
on your
did.
own
I
terms.
did. I am proud of myself and I'm proud of anyone out there who, despite being in love, realizes it's not what's right for them and what's best for them in the long run. And I'm grateful for the time that I had, even though a lot of it was bad. But yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Thank you for being so open.
Yeah. Well, thank you for
Aw.
listening.
You're welcome. I want to change the subject from a
Okay.
sad note to a little bit of a happier note. Unless you're not finished,
I'm
if you want to talk about
finished.
it, you can.
I'm finished.
I want you to be able to
I'm
be
sure I'm
comfortable.
sure it'll come up again later on. I
Okay.
mean, this is all still fresh and new. I
Yeah,
moved and
she
everything's
did
been
move.
crazy.
I love her little apartment. It's so cute. It
Is
is. I see a great change for you coming,
on the horizon.
and I feel so happy for you, and I can't wait to see and be along that journey with you. And
Me too. I really do want to find myself and even like not even find myself but just be at peace with myself. I really want to work on my stress was a big part of the last year and a half of my life, and I really just want to like be calmer and really just try to be grateful for the things that I have and also be okay with the possibility of dying alone. And I don't mean that in a derogatory
no,
way or
yeah,
in a bad
no.
way. I mean like okay, because
You want to be happy
I
with
want to be able to
yourself.
choose myself over anyone else and not settle. You know what I mean? I want to be able to distinguish the differences between me
And somebody
and
else.
somebody else.
It's funny that you say that, because when I went through that hard time, I instantly went back into another relationship a year after my relationship, and just I shouldn't have done that because
Mhm.
I was a shell of myself. I was trying to find myself in the middle of that, and I feel that I was the problem in that relationship with the guy
Yeah.
afterwards, because
Yeah.
I was finding out who I was after the relationship.
Yeah.
After that, I slowly started realizing things that I wanted. And then I got in a 2-year relationship. I really loved the guy, but him and I were just on 2 different paths. And we ended very good off.
And I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to recognize that and to be able to end the relationship. It's so hard ending a relationship. It is the hardest thing that I've ever done. Genuinely. I don't know. It's a very, very hard thing, especially when you do love the person. But at the same time, like, if that's what's best for you in the long run, it's just what you have to do.
And then I started, finding myself. Like, I found out who I was as a person.
And then you found Chris.
And then I found Chris.
And you never would have found Chris if you didn't own up to,
Well, I do realize that, like, my sorority was a lot of it too. When I was with the one guy before, I started realizing my sorority is different. So I kind of lived the California sober lifestyle where you would drink occasionally, but when you did drink, it was balls to the wall.
Right.
When I met Chris, I wasn't sober 100%, and then I'm 7 years sober, so I've never been this sober in my life. So,
and isn't it a cool thought that, like, every day you've never been this sober?
It is a cool thought.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
like,
I never
that
thought
that's
about
gonna
it
last
like
the
that.
rest of your life.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah, it's a nice little way.
It is a nice way to think about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, do you have anything else for this main topic?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my little beast I got from Kings Island.
I said main topic. I meant off.
Oh.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. It is off topic. But this is Beast. I don't know what to name him.
Beastie.
I don't know what to name him.
Maleficent. I'm kidding. I don't know.
He's from the Beast, so at Kings Island.
I think he's cute.
I do too. I wanted him so bad because I saw him and I was like, oh my God, he's adorable. I want him. And I got him. So we went to Kings Island this last weekend. My kids went for the first time ever to Kings Island. Mm-hmm. It was definitely an experience. So I know this is going to sound terrible, so don't come for me, please. We made our kids ride every single ride just because of the fact that they have never been to an amusement park.
Right.
So sometimes the fear gets in the way. If you've never been on the ride, how do you know you're not going to enjoy it?
Yeah.
So for the first time, we were like, you guys are going to ride every single ride. Neil loved every single ride we went on.
I totally believe that.
Every single ride. He loved it. He was in love.
Were you a big, like, roller coaster person?
I was a big roller coaster person. I love roller coasters.
I was too. I wasn't very afraid of heights.
I wasn't either. I
wasn't deathly afraid of heights.
Yeah, I do think of the worst things possible when I get on a roller coaster.
Same. I'm like Final Destination.
Yeah.
Up in this bitch,
but it's kind of like a thrilling fear too at the same time. So it's
It's like that adrenaline.
Yeah, like you're scared, but you're like, oh my God, this is
like
so
watching
fun.
a scary movie. Or people do things, going to a haunted house. Like, people do things to be scared.
So it's one of those things. I know we are weird. We are so weird.
We're like little hellraisers.
We are. Let's do it for the thrill. Leo loved every single ride that we were on. Mackenzie, on the other hand, she did not love every ride that she got on. She did pass out twice on a roller coaster, so we did let her. We didn't force her on after that. After the second time of her passing out, we were kind of like, all right, you had enough. You had enough. You got to chill.
Oh, Mackenzie kept passing out.
She kept passing out.
Unpause.
I don't know why I do that after every single time you say it. I always go unpause. I always
It doesn't
repeat.
matter. It's going to get cut out.
I know. But, of course, after the second time she passed out, we were like, okay, we're going to have you sit out.
Yeah, take a break, girl.
It's not good for you to be constantly passing out. The first time so I don't know if it was passing out per se, but she definitely was not at home. Like, it took her a minute to come back into her body.
Have you ever seen that, like, viral video? And there might be multiple out there. I think we've actually talked about it. Where, like, the girl's like,
and then she passes out.
She wakes up and she realizes the state she's still in, and she goes,
that was Mackenzie.
Yeah, that's all I picture when I hear that.
It was
just the waking up and then getting scared all over again and then re-passing out.
So the first ride that she rode there was the Banshee.
You probably should have started her off on a little kiddie ride, like let her build up to it.
No, we went hard.
Wow,
we went hard.
Balls to the wall.
Might as well go balls to the wall. Because I'm one of those people that sometimes I don't know if I would ever jump out of a plane, but part of me wants to because it seems like it would be fun. My thing would be, my luck is that my parachute won't work and then I'll hit the ground and I die. But it will be fast, you know? I want to die fast. Okay. But
what if you don't? What if you just break all your bones?
Oh no.
See, there's no guarantee.
No, there is no guarantee. Okay.
Okay, because here's my thing. I think about death quite a bit.
Me too.
And you will never catch me jumping out of an airplane. You will never catch me in the ocean. You will never catch me on a cruise. You will never catch me skydiving. I'm good. There are certain things where I don't need to know about the thrill. You know, like I can get my thrill in other ways.
Yeah.
Sex, you know, like just kidding. Just kidding. No, your girl's celibate.
You gotta love that. You gotta love that thrill, though. It's a great thrill.
It is. It's a great thrill. Climaxing is amazing.
Yes.
10 out of 10. Would do recommend. If you're 18 and up. Over.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't need to jump out of an airplane to, you know, I don't need to climb Mount Everest, you know, to prove my
I mean, I do get why some things are kind of like, okay, let's not do that. I guess I kind of feel bad.
I understand the concept because, you know, human beings like to find ways to make them feel alive. So they get close to the edge, like bungee jumping off of a fucking bridge. They get close to the edge of death without actually dying. But the risks just don't really like outweigh the reward to me. Yeah. Like you get a 2-second little adrenaline thrill and then, but what if you actually, like, what if something does happen and you die?
But
that's not worth it to
That's
me.
with anything though.
I agree.
Like driving in a car is like probably the most likely where you're going to die. That freaks me out every single time I get into a car.
Yeah, I agree, but I guess that one is just, I'm so desensitized to it.
Yeah, because you're so used to it.
You know, maybe that one just isn't that big of a deal to me because of that. I do think that car accidents are like rough.
Yeah.
Like that one, like I understand that like getting into it, like you could die just driving your car to work one day. Like I completely understand that. But at the same time, like, what am I gonna do? Not go to work?
Right.
Like,
That's true.
Like, what am I gonna do? Stay in my house forever?
I wish we didn't have to. So she, you know, we kind of made her go onto the rides, but I feel like those are a little bit different than making her jump out of a plane. I would never make her jump out of a plane because that's a whole different story entirely. But you have to know, like, will you not go on these rides? For instance, I don't like to drop zone. I hate the drop zone.
The drop zone.
Just because I don't like dangling like that. And then which I have a funny story about, the delirium, the one that is like the drop zone, but it swings back and forth. So we went to go wait in line 3 different times. All 3 times the ride closed down. The first time the line
closed, why?
Like okay, I don't know exactly. So the first time it was closed, they were doing something. I think they were testing it. The second time they closed down, it was supposedly because someone threw up on the ride. The third time we were waiting in line and it closed, I saw the mechanic come out of the office and start walking over to the ride with his tools and stuff. And I said, yeah, no, I'm not riding that. Because one, I don't like the delirium because that ride freaks me out because I'm afraid I'm always going to die on that ride. And my fear for death outweighs the fear of the thrill on those rides, which is why I don't ride them.
Oh yeah, I completely get that.
But I did like the little swing thing that is kind of like
that Viking boat that like swings back and forth.
Mackenzie was cracking me up on that one. Me and Chris were watching her and her grandpa like swing back and forth on the Viking. And the whole time she's on the ride, she's closing her eyes. And then towards the end, she opens them and all you see her do is go, oh! Oh!
Cute. You need to you should have bought those pictures that they take while you're doing the ride.
I know. One of them was she was passed out on the ride.
Why didn't you buy that?
Because they're so expensive.
I know.
And we didn't have a lot of money to begin with on that day. You know, we had bills.
That would have been so funny.
I know. And
just framed it
and posted it here.
Yeah, right there.
Right? She did overall towards the end where we were on the little spinny up in the air swing things. I was next to her and I started talking to her about a bird and how this is what a bird sees when they're soaring in the sky. Feel the wind in their feathers. Feel that breeze on your skin and your feathers. Soaring through the sky. Look out at the landscape and look at the pretty sun that was there. And it calmed her down where she opened up her eyes and she actually enjoyed the rest of the ride with us going down.
That's beautiful, Tyler.
It was.
That's a beautiful moment.
That's
a Hallmark moment.
That is a Hallmark moment. That was like a father-daughter moment.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
That's sweet.
Yeah, overall.
I'm glad you had a good time. And that's a cute plushie.
It is a cute plushie. My sister tried to steal it from me. Then my sister captured a moment of me at Kings Island. I was listen, I was in a great mood that day. So I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
I do not.
Okay. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So, what is today's topic? Cults.
But just to be clear, this is not research.
Yeah, this is not research, so we're just giving our based opinions on cults and what we think are cults, but we kind of know what cults, I guess. I have ideas of what cults are.
What are your ideas?
So obviously, you don't have to have a direct leader, but most of the time, most cults have a direct leader, and there's all kinds of different cults. In fact, there was a lady that goes by Knitting Cult Lady on TikTok, and she grew up in a cult. Actually, one of the biggest cults in the United States was the Church of God cult. She grew up in it. She wrote a book about it, and I really want to get the book to read it to kind of know what her experience was living in the cult.
Have you ever seen Shiny Happy People?
No.
Have you ever heard of the Duggars?
Yes.
I think it's about that.
Okay.
I saw the first season, but the second season might be about a different family. Mormonism, church cults, those are cults.
Churches are cults.
For sure.
They are. And
hot take.
Hot take. It is a very hot take, and if you don't agree with us, then
some are more culty than others.
I do.
Some are more direct about it. I feel like Scientology is a cult.
Scientology is a cult.
Such a fucking cult. First of all, they make you record yourself saying your deepest, darkest secrets just so that they can hold it over you.
I don't like that. I don't like the idea of that.
Yeah. I don't either. Because Scientology is its whole other thing.
Also, what's to say that I'm not lying about the deepest, darkest secret just to get in? You know, to be honest,
I think you'd have to truly be a psychopath in order to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
how badly do you want it?
Well, and you can start a cult any kind of way, too. You can say, I'm a prophet of the Lord Jesus. It's weird how cults come about, though.
Do you also notice how most of the cult leaders are men?
Because they are. There was one that I watched on YouTube, a video that I watched about it, where there was a woman that was a cult leader. I can't really think about the cult. I mean, she had men there, too, but it was like...
I'm just kidding.
I would join a cult.
I'm not gonna join a cult.
You know, I feel like we're part of a cult.
The
United States of America in general is a cult.
But my thing is I understand a concept, okay? Now hear me out. The concept is a community-based living.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all buy a plot of land, we all go in on a plot of land, and we work the land, and we, our jobs are to, farm and utilize nature and stuff like not even that, because, depending on how much money you have, you could buy a house and live off of that. But
yeah,
I just mean community, kind of starting a village in your own way. I understand that. And a close-knit community.
Yeah.
I understand that. But when religion gets brought into it, things tend to get a little culty.
Well, so Chris tells me all the time that he wants to buy a big plot of land and build a bunch of houses on this land.
Yeah, and I would buy one of those.
And I told him, I said, so you want to live in a cult?
That would be great.
And he's like, it's not a cult.
There's no religion.
There is no religion.
There's no religion. Y'all just live your lives.
As
long as you're not hurting someone else.
I do think it would be kind of nice just to have a plot of land for a bunch of family and friends to live on. I think that would be cool. But obviously getting outside of that whole area. Because if you live in the area, I think the thing that kind of makes it culty is one, when religion gets involved, or you don't allow people into your compound.
Not necessarily. Like, I could understand weeding out some people. I don't want a random stranger on my plot of land and then they, like, kill people. Like, you don't know people.
Right.
I understand wanting security.
Yeah.
I do get that.
Yeah.
But I think the religion is the main thing.
Like,
when you're using and prophets and, when you're using this to control people and to manipulate them, that's where I have a problem.
That's where it kind of becomes
you're
a little
exploiting
culty.
them, you're getting money out of them, you're a lot of these cults will, like, the leader will marry the 14-year-old daughters and shit, and or they'll, like, for example, I forget which one this was, but it was the Waco one.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I think so.
So I think it was that one, but don't or do fact check me.
A lot of cults go younger too.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a lot of cults go younger?
But that one, like, they separate the men and the women except for the leader. Like, the leader has wives or whatever, and they can have all the women they want. It's like a lion thing. It's weird to me. It's like a lion pack. I don't know.
Do you think pyramid schemes and cults are kind of the same thing?
I think when it comes to Scientology, yeah. It depends on the cult.
To be honest with you, I think pyramids. So I'm not going to name the company because I obviously don't want to get sued. But my grandpa used to go to these meetings all the time. We would used to travel around with my grandpa when we were younger, and they would get up on stage and there would be a main person, and there were rich people, a bunch of rich people, and it was a pyramid scheme. They would have you buy the boxes of stuff and try to sell those specific kind of stuff, and they would say, this is what you could earn and this is where you can go. But all these people that are around that get your stuff, how are you making money off these people?
It's like the way pyramid schemes work is you're one person and you tell two people, and then those two people tell four people, or two people, which adds up to four people, and it just multiplies like that. And that's how pyramid schemes work. Is unless you're all the way at the top,
you're not going to get anything. You're just buying the boxes.
You're not
going
to have a company. You're not going to be a CEO. You're not going to be, like, pyramid schemes are weird.
Which it's where I think it can be kind of culty because you have a main person, and it's not religious based, but it's there because these people would sell CDs. They would have themselves, like, sell these kind of CDs. There was, like, an off-brand version of, like, Get Your Head in the Game by High School Musical, and they would sing these and do these songs where they think that they were, like, so cool, and these people would literally be, this is what you can do, this is how you can make money. And I'm just sitting there thinking, you have to be one of the lucky few to get all these people out, because their product kind of sucked. Like, it did. It really was kind of,
it's cheap,
crappy product. My grandpa would buy these boxes of these things, and then he would give them out for, like, Christmas presents and stuff, but they weren't exactly the best products. They were like, they were like the product that you would use if you ran out of something, just for the time being. The shampoo made your hair very greasy, made my hair very greasy. It didn't smell very good. And I just felt like he was wasting his money on these things. They did have some good things, like their energy drinks were decent. They were fairly decent. But I do feel like he just kind of bought into this pyramid scheme. Unfortunately. And it felt like it was kind of culty. It always felt kind of culty to me.
I don't think that there's so much present in today's society, in today's world, because we all kind of, like, know about it now.
Yeah.
We're like, you can't get me,
You actually... A lot of people will sit there and Knitting Cold Lady says that there was something that she said in one of her TikToks where they were like, even reporters got pulled into cults.
Reporters?
Like, undercover reporter would go into the cult to kind of try to infiltrate it. They got drawn into the cult.
I think
because it's a psychological thing. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you.
For sure.
That's why I would never try to be a part of something where it felt that way. I mean, we're all aware that cults exist, but saying that you will never fall for one, you could. You absolutely 100% could. I mean, we did all for years. Like, I fell for the church. I wanted to believe in existence of Jesus Christ and the God, all Savior, but people do. And a lot of people come out of it going, Oh wow. I was really sucked in.
Yeah, I also think that the people that they choose are very vulnerable, and they usually get them in like very vulnerable times in their lives where they may not have anybody, or
That's usually how it works.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean you're preying on people, and you're like manipulating them, and you're twisting things, and and it's really fucked up, and it bothers me honestly, because you know what you're doing is wrong.
Hmm.
Um
I think that it's hard because, it's like being in a toxic relationship. You don't want to believe that it's toxic, right?
right, like you want to
You,
believe that you invested in something that's
yeah.
good, and I completely understand that, but at the same time, like you can never catch me dead in a cult, like unless it was one of those community based ones, religion isn't involved, and you're not trying to spew the gospel on me of whatever gospel you came up with.
Yeah.
Because usually they try to make it a little bit different than the last version,
Then the last
like they try,
one, they try to change it.
like the Waco one was like aliens and shit.
A lot of cults, though, do space travel.
They
They
do.
do
They
talk
they
about
really
space
believe in
travel. Yeah.
like aliens, and
Hmm.
it is what it is. But at the same time, I don't care as long as you're not hurting anybody. But I
Right.
do feel like even though you may not be physically hurting anybody, if you're preying on vulnerable people to join your cult, you are. They're searching and longing for community, and you're offering it to them.
Which anybody that comes out of a certain point in their life, they try to long for something that
Yeah,
they didn't have before. So they try to find something that gives them a bit of meaning. So like for this podcast gives me and part of you a little bit of a meaning.
yeah,
So we found other outlets to kind of give us that bit of meaning. And
yeah.
some people, when they come out of, and a lot of times I do believe that sometimes when you come out of one bad situation, you can easily be walked into another bad situation, which is what you were talking about. Essentially, is like the
Absolutely.
lowest point in their life, and I think that is the most vulnerable somebody could
Mhm.
be. It's like sometimes you can have it happen over time where certain things kind of like build up, and then you're like, even if you're not longing for something. There was one video that I watched too of you on YouTube, which is kind of where we got the culty little thing to talk about. Is there was a guy that he was a loving father. He was, just living a normal average life, and there was nothing wrong. But he started going to these certain things, which caused him to kind of break away from his family, like his children and his wife.
Yeah.
Like he kind of started to step away, so he went and joined a cult.
Which I would imagine that there are probably some areas in his life that he was not happy in,
And
like
probably,
his career or his home life.
yeah,
Like there were probably some things that he was unsatisfied in. There's a missing piece in his heart or whatever, and he needed to
he went and
find
found that
something.
longing.
And like that's what I mean. These like people are very easily manipulated if you
Hit the
hit
right
them at the
people.
right time.
Yeah, the right time. And there's a cult going on right now. I'm not gonna say the name of the cult, but we all know. Um, but a lot of people and not understanding. A lot of times it's not understanding or educated on
Yeah.
a specific thing.
Certain demographics.
Which is, it's weird to think because a lot of people would sit there and say that the only person that is living is God, right? But they don't believe in the idea that somebody else can be an internal. And there are some people that do believe that they are this prophet, this
Mm.
all
I
amazing person.
those are the scary ones. The people who truly believe that are a prophet, or like okay. So what's the main guy? He was the don't drink the Kool-Aid guy. I forget his name. But the guy who like started his own town, he was on drugs. Hella heavy, heavy, heavy drugs. And that on top of his ego and his whole prophecy ego and shit is, and then everyone like feeding into it, and praising him and stuff. It's a deadly combination, and
Mhm.
people died. Like he made them drink,
Oh, it was the poison.
yeah, the
And
Kool-Aid that was poison. And the people that refused to drink it,
yeah,
he like had other people like force them to drink it. And
yeah.
like that, like,
It was a group suicide.
but it wasn't, it was murder.
Well, yeah, it was.
I mean, you got
Yeah,
like children and fucking like I don't know. It was just shitty. But that's what I mean. Like, people can become very, very scary, especially when you're mixing in drugs and, like you're putting people on a high pedestal that they don't belong in. Worship your God. That's totally fine.
Right.
But that human being is not your God.
Right.
He's not your Messiah.
No.
He's a human being, and he's charming and manipulative.
That's all it is. It's a very scary place because it's the most charming, scary people. And it starts with one person. And then that one person goes to another person. And then other person goes to another person. And then it just it's like a pyramid scheme. That's why I say that, like, it kind of fits, it molds together.
And they started their whole like town and everything, but that like the town, like everyone was stripped down to bare necessities and even less than that, I think. And he was using the money for himself and stuff like that of all of these people's like savings and hard-earned, money and everything. And they're completely like their lives, like they're blowing up their lives for this, for you. And he separated men and women, and he slept with children, probably, like,
I'm sure he did. It's disgusting. Don't do that.
It really is. And especially, like, okay, I'm sorry if you were Mormon, and I'm not saying that all Mormons are like this, but the polyamorous ones really freak me out, because the Duggar family, having seen Shiny Happy People, where you have children, like 14-year-olds marrying 50, 60-year-old men, but it's all illegal. It's all like under the table and stuff, because you can't actually marry a child, right?
Only in certain states.
Well,
actually,
yeah, or they'll
sadly,
travel to certain states, or they will go and live and base these communities in those states so that they can get away with it. And like these certain things that like the law is above them, and it freaks me out. It's really gross. And I don't like the children aspect of it. I think that if you're in a cult, you should be an adult and you should make that decision on yourself.
Yeah, you should not. But that's the problem, is that when you're in a cult and you have children, they grow up in that cult.
Yeah.
So they don't see it at first because it's what they're used to. And then it takes them kind of going outside the cult. They get older and they start to realize that, oh, these things aren't normal. Like, this isn't normal.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know. It's just a really scary thought, because like these people are manipulated to all extents. And it's really freaky, like how you could do that to a mass.
How you can get
people,
like
a
mass group of people. It's kind of like, for me, like the church. I used to wonder why you would give money.
Yeah, I always did too.
And why they were like
election plates.
Yeah, and then they would put a like God, wealth, or something like that.
But also, like, you're already getting tax breaks.
Yeah.
For being registered as a church. And I don't know. I don't really get it. Maybe it's to pay, the preacher's salaries, because that's their livelihood. But I don't know. I don't like the idea of giving money to a church.
Didn't either. It didn't make any sense to me, because people would literally, I'm nosy, so when they would pass these plates around, I would literally look at checks that people would write to the church. And I would sit there and I'd go, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and you don't know what they're doing with all of it. Like, you don't know exactly where every dollar of yours is going. And like, at the very least, get an itemized receipt. Like, I don't know. I understand needing help to keep the bills and the lights on and everything. Especially because they're not, if they're doing it themselves, they're not like getting paid for it. A lot of priests or preachers, I want to say, because when I think priest, I think Catholic, but a lot of preachers and stuff, they like volunteer to do it, unless you're sworn into the priesthood or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Women can't be priests. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I think they can now these days.
Maybe these days.
I don't know. I don't know.
Definitely not in the Catholic religion.
Don't quote me on that.
I've never seen a woman priest before in my entire life. I've seen wives of priests. I've seen or preachers.
I've seen women pastors. There's women pastors.
But that's a more baptism. Like, that's
it is Baptist.
I was Baptist.
Or my family is like half Catholic and half
it's the
Baptist.
Italian,
Yeah, it's the Italian side of the family.
I totally get it, but that definitely like ruined it for me when I found out like women couldn't be preachers.
Which now they can. Women can be preachers now.
I believe you, but I feel like it's only in certain
probably in certain places. But
I don't think like
then
it's
you have
worldwide.
non-denominational.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of times they kind of go.
Yeah.
Because
you
like,
definitely have your more stricter ones and your more sexist ones.
Yeah. I mean, my bio dad was a pastor, but
oh, so you know your stuff.
But I feel like he was also on the hard end of Baptist church, like he was a Baptist.
Yeah.
And I feel like that one there, like you said, there's these big mega churches going around. I don't know the name of. I don't want to. If you know the name, do not name. We're not going to name them, but I'll tell you after if I remember. But there's these mega churches going around, and my mom was telling me about how she went to a mega church, and they didn't even have a pastor inside the mega church. They just had him up on a screen.
Are you serious?
And the fact that there's a building that is dedicated to that. And then of course there was little helper bees that were in the church that would like gather specific things or give out the blood of Christ and blah blah blah. But the pastor wasn't even in the church itself.
What
it
are
was
you
like
paying for? They got it on the fucking radio.
They have it on the radio. They have it on TV.
Yeah.
Like my great grandmother, she watches.
I'm not paying to go to a church where the guy's on the screen and not even there in the building.
I haven't been to church in a long time. Really did kind of walk away from it because I felt very culty. It felt very culty. It is.
I don't know. I think there are a lot of different versions of cults.
There is different variations of cults. Like, there's more severe cults than there are than others.
So let's take a look at one of the nice cults and what we like to call cult classics.
Cult classics.
See, what I like about this cult is that it's a community of people who have come together to basically revamp movies that didn't do well when they first came out. But they're classics.
So... I love that. I love how you did that. I love that so much. There is.
Yeah, those are the best. Those are my favorites.
There are quite a few. The Craft.
The Craft.
Is a cult classic.
A great cult classic.
A lot of movies that a lot of cartoon movies are cult classics. Like certain ones that didn't do very well in the box office, but later on
people were like, damn, this hits. Like, this hits. I also think that maybe these things came out before their time.
I do think, yeah.
Like, for example,
the maturity level.
You're like The Craft, it was late 90s, right? Or mid to late 90s, which makes sense because you're riding off of the 80s satanic, Red Scare.
Yeah.
So people probably weren't as interested in The Craft as, 10 years later.
Yeah.
I love The Craft. I love a lot of cult classics that people are just not like
now
the Blair Witch Project is a cult classic. I don't think that movie's good, but it's a cult classic.
I also think that a lot of cartoon themes. There was Treasure Planet. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It was early 2000s, I think, either late 90s, early 2000s type of movie, and I think it was a Disney movie. I might be wrong. I think it was a Disney movie. It was called Treasure Planet. It was It was pirates based in space.
Oh, okay. I've heard of it. I know what you're talking about.
It was such a good movie, but it never got the recognition that it deserved.
Right.
I felt like it could have gone very far. It could have been a franchise, but it didn't get the recognition that it deserved.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of come back out and people are now appreciating it. But I also feel like some movies have some cult classic cartoons had too much of a mature theme.
Yeah.
That us as children didn't appreciate it because we didn't understand it.
Which is fair.
Which is why when we when we watch it back now, we're like, fuck yeah, this is a good movie. Or it was too scary at the time that it came out.
Yeah, so the whole concept is it didn't hit its audience until later. It took a while to find an audience, which
and people grew
fine.
to love it.
Yeah,
and they kind of grew
sometimes
a beautiful community off that.
Yeah, I think sometimes people like artists and filmmakers and stuff, they're ahead of their time.
Horror Hound kind of reminds me of like cult classic movies. Elvira is a cult classic. Elvira is
so good, and you're right, it is a cult classic. But again, another movie that came out in the 90s, off of the satanic panic,
and it did fairly well. But I feel like later on, a lot of people
started appreciating.
Were like, oh my god, a lot of millennials. I feel like were the ones that kind of brought. I feel like millennials were the start of the cult classics.
Probably. But I'm Gen Z, and I think I'm built different.
But you are built. She is very much built different.
Like I really like 80s movies and 90s movies and 2000s because
you grew up.
I grew up on them. Like my dad used to. I don't know if I could say this without needing a lawyer. No. My dad used to like burn discs and stuff, and so before streaming services came to light, we couldn't afford we were poor. We couldn't afford dish or cable.
Right.
So if we what we watched was what was in the house.
Yeah.
And so it was whatever my dad had ever seen. Mm-hmm. Everything my dad has ever seen or wanted to see. He like burned onto a disc, and I would spend my summers and every day after school flipping through all the albums or he would buy movies because this is back when DVD players were crazy. But like I said, whatever we had in the house is what I would watch.
Yeah.
So because of that, I've seen a lot of things the cult that I normally wouldn't have seen.
Yeah. Now, mind you, I want to make this very clear about cult classics. I don't mean like White Chicks, for instance. To me, that is a classic, but it isn't a cult classic. When we're talking about cult classics, we are legitimately talking about
those weird movies
that at first that came out that were just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then hit later on. Mm-hmm. That is a cult classic.
Like Trick or Treat, I feel like was a cult classic, but I don't actually know because I got into that pretty late.
You ever seen the movie Howard the Duck?
I want to say yes.
It was a 80s movie, and it was a very cheesy 80s movie that my dad loved.
I don't think so. I think I'm thinking of Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, probably are.
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, and that's kind of a cult classic.
Maybe, yeah, I think it might be
like a minor cult classic.
Yeah, because it was Emilio Estevez. Like I feel like it did well.
Yeah. So
this is another thing. Like it brought out actors, you never normally would have thought of.
Yeah.
So for example, like Billy Loomis, who plays Billy Loomis, LOL, Skeet Ulrich, who plays Billy Loomis in Scream, he is in the cult classic The Craft around the same time. Oh. So you have, and so is the main girl, Sydney. I don't know her name in real life, but she was also in The Craft. So was Skeet Ulrich.
She was in The Craft. Mm-hmm. There was another movie that tried to kind of do what Kraft did, and I felt like I do love it. It's
Practical Magic.
Well, Practical Magic is it's a mid.
I don't know if it's a cult one or not because I think it's always been popular.
I think it was like a mid cult classic.
Yeah,
because I think it was one of those movies that.
But you had like Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock, and so I really feel like if those actors, because they were famous during that time, I mean they still are, but because they were famous during that time, that's why that did hit the audience it was supposed to.
I also think that honestly, Hocus Pocus at first didn't do very well.
Thought.
Didn't do very well.
I don't know because everybody and their mother has seen that.
Everybody's seen it, but I'm saying I don't know if it did very well when it first came out because there are a lot of movies that didn't. Yeah, I can't remember. Might be wrong. But there was a lot of movies that hit differently later on.
Yeah, I also think Tim Burton was one of them. Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know if that did well at first.
I don't know.
Because I feel like it's a little too
it's a little too hyped. I feel like a lot of things that it used to be not overhyped and then become. But they're like shows that you can respect. The community that it brings with that people. Actually, me and my coworker today were talking about anime and how anime used to be for nerds. Like we used to get made but now it's really mainstream.
It is. It really is. I have never met a man who didn't watch anime.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, Chris doesn't watch anime.
That's one.
There is one man that's never watched anime.
Yeah.
I mean, he's watched it with me, but he knows what Pokemon is, but he doesn't grasp it.
Yeah, I think definitely. And it does make sense that it would be a lot more normalized today because you have the people who are raised off Pokemon and Sailor Moon and Naruto and stuff like that. So that does make sense why it's so mainstream today. But yeah, it used to be like a very nerdy thing.
Very nerdy thing. I used to be ashamed of it.
It was taboo, but so was witchcraft.
Yeah.
Or like being witchy or anything along those lines.
But I also think that's become more mainstream too.
Absolutely. But that's because of shows like Charmed and movies like Practical Magic and The Craft. Fun fact, actually, The Craft came out before the show Charmed did, like a couple of years before, and if not less time, very, very soon with it. And the song for The Craft
is the
intro song
yeah.
from Charmed. They stole that shit. They totally did. They knew what they were doing. And
it makes sense.
Holly Marie Combs, who plays Piper, she tried out for
Craft?
The Craft. Yeah, she was almost in it.
Oh, wow.
I think it would have been really cool if she'd gotten that role.
Yeah.
Because later on you see her in Charmed. Like, that would have been so cool.
Do you think they're going to remake those movies?
Oh, for sure. I mean, they've already made a Practical Magic 2, or they're working on it.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope it's real.
My only issue is they're all all nostalgia grabs, and they're not actually good.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice 2, cult classic, by the way.
It's a cult classic.
Beetlejuice is so good, but Beetlejuice 2, it was shitty. I think it was so poorly put together. I think the plot was dumb. It was dumb. I didn't like it. I think that they very poorly executed it, and they did it for the nostalgia grab and for the money grab. I wish that they had done like an actual good 2.
Yeah.
I'm sick of all these sequels, and I'm sick of all, these.
If you're going to do it after all these years, I mean, do it right.
I understand the nostalgia aspect. I know you're going to bring up Freaky Friday,
I was about to say Freaky Friday. Oh my God. We're on the same wavelength.
So, do you think that one was a well blend of nostalgia and a good new plot, or?
Yes.
Okay, because.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well, because of the fact that they actually did. The storyline was actually really good.
Good.
I understood what they were doing with the storyline, and I don't feel like they brought the characters back, but they didn't emphasize on specific characters.
Good.
So like, I don't want to give it away.
Don't.
I'm not going to.
Because I haven't seen it.
I will shut up now.
But maybe that's something we can watch Saturday.
Yeah, but I feel like that to me was a very good sequel.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that Lindsay Lohan really got her shit together.
Love her, by the way.
Love her. And even when she didn't have her shit together, I still loved her.
First of all, she went to like Spain or something and like just lived her best life for the longest time.
And she's a mom now too.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of her.
Me too. Same with Paris Hilton.
She's really making a comeback. Lindsay Lohan is.
And I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I always have.
I love Jamie. I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
This is so far off topic.
I know.
Cult classics are amazing, and I love them.
I think we're just
still people coming together for specific reason.
Yeah, and I feel like but there isn't a specific leader to that cult,
which is why I love it.
Yeah, like it's just a group of people, a group of community
who agree that this movie is good.
There's a lot of things that I can see as cult, like Marvel fans, DC fans. Those kind of are
their own cults.
Their own cults, but they're not a bad cult.
Yeah.
When I think of cults, I really do think of religious prophets, but
we talked enough about religion.
Yeah, and I feel
they go hand in hand. Like I don't know really how not to.
Well, yeah, but at the same, they do go hand in hand, and it is a lot. I think a lot of people do step away from the fact of the religion because of the way that it starts to make them feel. And when it starts to make you feel kind of bad, it is time to step away. And that's what happens with a lot of people that come out of cults is they start to realize that, something's not right.
Right.
And sometimes it takes some people never step out of the cult. Sometimes, which, one of the things that they can talk about with cults too is if the leader dies, it nearly is impossible to pass the cult along because the leader is the one that has the factor.
Prophet.
He's the one that had the it
factor. That's a good point. That's a good point.
So
how generation wise, it's not realistic.
Yeah, it's not, because eventually it just kind of, people are like, and most of the time the person that they pass or the person that tries to take over the cult doesn't have the same it factor. I think I just
they're
said
not
that.
On the same amount of
they're
drugs.
Not on the same not on the same amount of drugs, or they just don't have the they don't have the appeal. Some people will follow them, but most of the time, most people tend to fizzle. It tends to fizzle out, and that's if you get lucky with the cult.
It's a very interesting thought.
Being in the cult,
regardless
of whether the leader's a part of it or not. But most of the time, most of them start to kind of and realization that like this isn't happening.
Yeah, I think
and they push it off. a lot of times, like with the space travel, they'll be like, "You're going to space," or the world is ending and it doesn't end.
Oh, I mean, I meant 10 years
I
from
meant,
now.
or I meant this
The date
point,
was
this
wrong. The
point,
Mayans calendar
yeah,
got it wrong.
yeah. And that's when the people from cults tend to wake up.
Yeah.
Is that when things this just isn't adding up, or they realize the wrong.
Which,
But with
I'm not going to tell people how to live their lives. I do genuinely just like, you should think things through. You should see things for what they really are. But when it comes to movies, I love them. Love cult classics. They're so great. I love that we as communities can come together and realize that a once thought bad movie is actually really good and very ahead of its time.
They are, and I do love that. A lot of times, I feel like Hocus Pocus was another one that kind of they took away the certain aspect of Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, they took away what made it
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, nostalgia grab.
And certain things didn't make sense when they came back. For instance, the book. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen it by now, then it's been out for a while. But spoiler alert: the book was given to her by Satan. But in the movie, Hocus Pocus 2, it was given to her by this other witch, not Satan himself.
Yeah,
and then,
that's right.
Yeah.
So, like, continuity is important.
Yeah. And the fact that I don't know how the Sanders sisters came back anyway, because
it was supposed to be. I can understand coming up with some kind of fucking stupid reason to bring them back.
Yeah.
But you got to make it work with the story at the very least. You have to make it believable.
Yeah. Not saying that the movie
Especially
wasn't good.
if you have a movie about witches that are from hell, I think you can very easily figure out how to bring them back and have it make sense.
I will say that the movie isn't shitty. Like it was nostalgic or a nostalgia grab, but it wasn't like too rough.
I understand the nostalgia point, but you need to keep the same tone. Like you need to otherwise it's just pointless. Yeah. You're just losing the plot, you're losing me. I don't know. And it just almost seems better to not have done it at all.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of people are having with the cult classics is that people are touching.
Well, because people are like, oh my God, this is so good. And it's gaining a community. That's why they didn't get a second movie when it first came out. That's why 20 years later, these movies, number 2 is coming out, you know? And they're doing it because now there's an audience. Now there's a willing for it. But you're doing it solely for the nostalgia grab, and you're not gaining any new people.
No.
And I don't know. It's just it's a stupid long rant for me to go on.
No, I do agree with you. I do agree that's the problem with that's the problem with the people that run the big companies.
Yeah, and they're just trying to get money because
they're trying to get the money
because they know that, oh my God, a second movie like Practical Magic 2, that theater's about to be packed.
It is about to be packed.
It's been what, like 30 years?
It's been a long time.
And that's another thing. You're waiting 30 years. Like, these people are old. I'm not even trying to be mean, but these people are old.
Yeah. They're in their...
First of all, Sandra Bullock was already in her 30s. She was 34.
When that movie came out?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
She was 34.
But, I mean, Sandra looks great for her age.
And she does. And I love Sandra. Don't get me wrong. Love her. Love Nicole Kidman. But that's what I mean. You're waiting so fucking long.
Yeah, and then how can you follow up? Like, Hocus Pocus 2, you can make that work.
See,
years later.
Hocus Pocus 2 had come out even in the 2010s, I think that would have been, like, easy. Even
people have been wanting the movie for a long time.
Yeah,
though.
2010, fine. Even that is really doable.
Yeah.
But, like, because special effects, that was very present. We had the special effects of 2009. What's it called? The robot cars. The robot cars with Shia LaBeouf. Transformers. So you have Transformers in 2009. That CGI, those special effects were banging.
They were banging. Yeah.
I know you could have done it. Why are we waiting 30 years, 20, 25, 30 years to do number 2s, like sequels and stuff? And these people are like 60 in their 60s and 70s.
Well, because a lot of people are also having issues with the fact that if you remake the movie, a lot of people get pissed off about remakes.
Then why are we still
done right? You can do it.
I get it, but that's what I mean. I feel like we should hold you to a higher standard. If you're gonna do it right. Don't do it for the nostalgia grab. Don't do it for the cash grab. Don't do it because you don't do it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Like, and here's the perfect example. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is coming out with a reboot. And the reason why it's taken, this one makes a lot of sense because Sarah Michelle Gellar. The reason why it's taken so many years, like 30 years, is because Sarah refused to do anything below par. She refused to do a reboot if it was going to be shitty.
Like, for instance,
she did
Charmed
not
reboot.
Shitty.
It wasn't even a reboot.
It wasn't.
It was a whole
remake. It was fucking stupid.
Mess. It was stupid.
And I could complain about that for an entire episode, believe me. But back to Buffy. Someone finally gave her an idea that made sense and gave her like a really good starting point, enough for her to create a reboot. And she worked very closely and is working very closely with the person who is doing the reboot. And it took her that long for someone to finally be like, this is worth it.
Well, it's kind of like shows like Lizzie McGuire. I know we're way off topic. This is part 2 of off topic subject, but I feel that's the same thing with Lizzie McGuire. They turned Lizzie McGuire down because Lizzie wanted to do an older version of Lizzie McGuire. Like, they're no longer in high school. They're grown ass adults.
Why would
now.
they? Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to
treat them like adults now that they are adults.
A cheesy little show.
Yeah.
Like iCarly, it still had the cheesy factor when they remade iCarly.
See, I never watched the remake because Jenna McCurdy wasn't in it, and I really love her. And I understand why.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying I really would have liked to see her in it.
Yeah, but they adulted it. They adulted iCarly. And it worked.
It makes sense to do things that way.
Yeah, like, but it still had the cheesy iCarly.
We're not children anymore. If you're pandering to this kind of audience, pander to the adults. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit that.
No, you're fine.
And that is all I have to say about this topic.
Yeah. So at the end of the video, make sure you guys check that out because we have an event going on this Saturday. We also are going to try to do a live on Friday while we're putting some stuff together. We don't know how to do it yet because we're new to this whole thing. So be patient with us, please. Also, make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe. And until next time, bye. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gen D podcast. We're your hosts,
Tyler and Alyssa.
Yeah, I fooled you. It's not an episode. We got some exciting news.
So, September 13th, 2025, we will be at AJ Jolly Park in Alexandria, Kentucky for the 2025 River Valley Viking Festival. We love all of the support that we get, and if you guys want to support us in person, please do show up to this event. If Viking festivals are something of interest to you, you only have to pay for parking, and it's a way for you to meet us if that's something that you would like to do.
I know. I'm super excited.
Me too.
Super stoked.
On the Soapbox book side, I will be selling and promoting my new novel, The Reaper That Sought Me, which I will put up here. And as well as us getting our podcast out there, both of them.
Yes, both of them. We're super excited. This is definitely a new experience for us. So we do have somebody that we have to thank for allowing us to take this opportunity for us to get out there. And
if you live in the Northern Kentucky area or the tri-state of Cincinnati and Indiana, then please definitely join us and just have a good time all the way around. And we cannot wait to see you there. Yeah. It's our first gig.
It is our first gig. It is. It's exciting. I'm super excited. We're going to kind of try to go live for you guys at the event for people that can't make it. So stay tuned for that as well. Again, this is a new experience for us. We've never done something like this before. Not to mention with our new podcast coming out and everything like that. Yeah, I know. We've been busy. Yes, but this will be just around the start of season 4 of the Gen D podcast. So you will be hearing this little promotional video a lot. Again, we hope to see you there. All of the information is in this little video. Yep. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at thegendpodcast@gmail.com. So also make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe and stay tuned for future episodes. Until next time. Bye.